The god Set is the basis for the Christian Satan, meaning opposer. What are the astrological origins of this name?
Yeah, well, Seth or Set or Sutek is, I think it's Article 3 on the Female Illuminati website, takes that and goes with that. It's all there in that article. It's they, Satan and Saturn are derivatives. And if you don't know that, then you get lost in all sorts of other nonsense that the internet and some other teachers speak about. Saturn is not an important god until, say, the Roman period. So it's not that it's, of course, it's important. You get Crom is the prototype. You've got Kronos is the other version, right? So they added a lot of symbolism to those gods. But the important thing to remember that every Greek and Roman god is a very late phenomenon. They're mostly composite, like Aphrodite is composite, part lunar, part Venusian, etc. And we're not going to go into it in detail, but all those gods are composites. The originals are either going to be found in Egypt, Ireland, or Persia, because the same Arya touched all of those lands. Another reason why Moses might have had horns is it's a symbol for the Scythians, or the Scythians, as I just call them, who were goat men. Great, like we said before, the whole school of Pythagoras was formed by them. So you get this. Could you remind me of the question quickly again, so don't get off? Because this is such a vast subject; it has so many tangents. But reiterate that question, please.
This is the god Set is the basis for the Christian Satan. What are the astrological origins of this name?
Yeah, there was no Set before the comet. Let's just put it that way. Set is a very old god. So in Talbot's work that I referred to, the weakness in their work is that they cannot pin the dates of the coming of this great comet. And it's an acceptable weakness because these things are difficult to date, but at least give it a try. So in my work, I'm all over I try a lot of different things. And one of the ways to date the coming of the comet is the rise of the god Set. There's a connection to the Hyksos. So it appears that the Hyksos might have been worshipping this god. And I believe that the Hyksos were originally Scythians. They were Arya. They were actually from the West. And they brought with them the worship of Set, which again is nothing more than as I say, the worship of the serpent, to try and appease the serpent. So when I say worship or veneration, excuse me, let's get this clear. When I say veneration of Set, or the veneration of the comet, veneration is, as it is today, placation. Just to make that clear, in case, when you light a candle at the Catholic Church or whatever, you're placating the wrathful God, the wrathful Jehovah. So all religion is placation. Well, you never seen placation like this one. Right? Set, even when they show it in some Indiana Jones nonsense, Temple of Doom, or Conan the Barbarian, yeah, they're close. They're close on that one, all right. When bodies of the dead and blood-soaked altars, yeah, because you're placating. You're placating something that never, ever, ever do you want to see, the rising of that head over the horizon again. Take out the 13th card of the Tarot, Death, and take a look at it. Nobody wanted to see that. That's why malefic. Comets were always malefic, but they were always thought of as gods, just like every luminary, just like every cosmic luminary or planetoid or whatever, they were all gods and goddesses. So when this great extravaganza of the comet, or later this great conjunction, and the two may be very much linked, a lot of things were going on in the heavens at that time, all of these cosmic events, the ancient brain had no doubt about it. This was, your Supermax screen, and the gods were talking to you. And woe betide you if you missed one single expression, one single note that the gods were transmitting to you. Saturn, Mercury, Mars, Venus, right? And when three of those came into conjunction, you better not miss a trick. Well, you could hardly miss it anyway. It was the most frightening thing anybody had ever witnessed. And you're literally seeing, figures that even look like gods and people and animals. So you paid attention. People see if they read the article from Heaven to Earth. But Set is special because that is the great fiery comet that everybody on the planet Earth saw from north to west, from east to, from north to south and east to west. It raged. It circled around several times. Some people say it blasted out of Jupiter, for goodness sake, and even Venus is a remnant of it, that the planet Venus is so venerated, especially by the female cults, because that's a remnant of the comet. And Venus used to be called the bearded lady because comets have a beard. Comets have that trail. And a lot of the symbolism, Barbata, Venus Barbata. Venus with a beard. Now, see, there's a symbol. How do you work that out? Do women have beards? No, so it must be one of those likes again. It must be a metaphor. Metaphor to what? But that's when you get into the interpretation. Well, it's the comet. But by the time it gets to Greece and Rome, a lot of that has been taken away, and other romance, other mythographs, and other myth-mongering has taken effect because we're thousands of years beyond, the time that this thing happened. But back to the question, the god Seth created cults who were first starting an appeasement. We're going to be a priesthood dressed in black. So when you see Judaism that allegedly on Saturday and all, as long as you keep thinking Saturn, they're laughing. They're going, you guys don't get it. They're a Seth cult. And their Jehovah was a fiery, right? Remember the burning bush, or he always appears in flame. These are all derivative. I mean, obviously they're synthetic. There's a lot of elements brought together with a character like Jehovah. It's very interesting. It's Baal worship. It's, El Shaddai. And by the way, Shaddai is Seth. El Shad, because it's Shad, Shed, Shet, right? Sunset, right? We still have all the references to it. And the Jews, what we call the early Jews, are a Set cult more than anything else. Anyone who thinks that they're solar, yeah, you can make that argument, but it's not gonna stand. And then you have to go back in time and think about what the real Israelites were all about. And there is a good connection to the Hyksos. It may be that the Hyksos are the earliest iteration of what we see when we see Jewish worship right now. There's people who speak about that, and I think it's very solid, except they usually don't have this piece. They don't know it's comet worship that sparked this placation. And then you could take it from there, as I do. The next important highlight is just to show that in the end, a very important priesthood of Seth, for duplicitous reasons, start presenting themselves as solar worshippers. That's the piece that I bring to the table. Another piece that I bring to the table that's absolutely critical. It has never been done before, but it's backed up by the idea that all of these different cults, all of them, had a public persona and a public gods that they openly worshiped to the people, and they had deeply private family worship behind. And it's private, so the public could only guess. And in those days, there was no media, so nobody knew anything about it. But if you walked into their chambers, you would have found, as has been whistleblown in innumerable films, private altars, private worship. That is the more powerful thing. Then that has never changed. So all the commenters on Christianity's, dark side or whatever, they all lack this. You really think that the Parthian houses and these red-headed queens were Christians or Jews? Just because technically they may have married into a couple of Jewish, even those Jewish families, you really think they were worshiping Jehovah? That's what you think? And then those Jehovah worshippers would find some commonality with some solar worshippers from Parthia? Not going to happen. That doesn't sell. That's totally toothless. These people they're part of the stellar cult, and it's movement down through. And one of the greatest bloodlines is the Sethian bloodline. I call it Sethian Atonist. But Atonism is out the front, mate. Christianity's out front. They got that from Mithras. They got that from Serapis. That's Jesus Christ. I mean, that's Frankensteinian. You people haven't worked that out yet. And when Constantine decided to not be ecumenical, but to purge and murder, and then purge the apocryphal texts, like the Book of Enoch and others, that's a cult. It's the Constantine cult. It's not Christianity. It's not Catholicism. That's a fifth sect. They're a gang, right? They got the fourth sect over there. That's a gang. So it's been gang warfare ever since. And you can throw in the Templars and the Knights of Malta, the Freemasons, and a whole bunch of other people. All originally meant to be scriptorium, decode it, rewrite it, redact it, make sense of it. Hey, I'm not even opposed to that part of it because it was part of the healing curve. After everybody was traumatized, those things came online because they were needed. But that is also power. The interpretation led to power hunger and to rivalry between the cults. And we're still in the middle of it. Still in the middle of their gangland fights.
So that being said, is there a connection between the Jewish Sabbath day worship and the god Set?
Yeah. Now, the lower rabbis, there's 5 tiers of rabbinical study. Anyone lower than the 5th and highest doesn't know a dick about anything. You know why? How could they? The Talmud is shoved into their face, the Torah, and what is a Jew but an interpreter? What is a rabbi? Don't you even see pictures of them there, reading the Torah and unraveling the scrolls of it? And just, what does it mean? And the first words in the Bible, and the gematria, and the notarican, and pesher. So my opening remarks about interpretation, just merely study Judaism. Every word in their holy books is interpreted in 1,000 different ways. That's why Ralph Ellis and these people are so great, to plow through all of that and get what's going on and then interpret it correctly so that the history books now make sense. And the lies of official, mainstream anthropology, history, Bible study can be exposed for the lies that it is, because these Sethianists who were billionaires back in the time of Egypt, and I mean billionaires in terms of gold, doesn't get rusted, just gets buried. Their forefathers have been using it ever since. And then the cleverness of the Templars and all to open banking and all of that. These people fund all of this. They fund those scholars, and very few of them. And Sigmund Freud proves it. Sigmund Freud, you don't believe in conspiracy theory? Just read Moses and monotheism and try to contextualize the fact that what he was discovering there should be what the anthropologists are discovering and the archaeologists over in Egypt. Why does it take a Freud to find out what's going on and then to suffer the consequences? But we thought the official archaeologists were the ones who expose all of this. Expose? They're the ones covering up what they found in the Valley of the Kings. They've covered up what Carter and Lord Carnarvon were up to, and who funded their entire expedition into the Valley of the Kings, and the looting that took place, and the looting that had taken place for centuries before Howard Carter got to Egypt. Egypt had been ransacked centuries before that. You think these Alexander the Greats and Islam left it intact behind glass, perfectly preserved because we just love knowledge? Not a chance of it. So yeah, the Sabbath day is Set worship, isn't it? Ever seen what Joe Sixpack does on a Friday night? Looking to get laid. How many bars are on the street corners? There's just as many bars on street corners as the churches. Coincidence, of course. It's all inebriation. It's all the bacchanalia. A word people should find out, because see, in the last 5 years, especially in the streets of United States of America, yeah, it's called bacchanalia. Look it up. It's called the Dionysian revelry. But that everybody participates in it without a freaking clue what they are doing. Mass hysteria comes from somewhere. Comes from somewhere.